So he says, put your borrowed weapons down. This is kind of an interesting line to start the verse off. And I think the way that I would interpret it is the weapons that the enemies are using against him are weapons that he gave them. Like he gave them those, like they don't even belong to them. It's a metaphor, obviously, but it's like saying, I am, you're trying to use the ammunition I gave to you against me. Put it down. It's not going to have an effect. That's kind of how I took it. He follows it up by saying, show us your fist, which I think is great. I think that's like a, let's fight man to man type of deal. Like, why are you trying to, like if you're the real deal, let's actually fight. Let's do this. I think he delivers this really well. It's a good start to the verse here. Listen.
Put your borrowed weapons down. Show us your fist.
Yeah, they're like, show us your fist. It's pretty cool. He then says, you chiseled open the seventh seal. It's the reason I exist. So if you don't know the seventh seal, that's a reference to Revelations from the Bible. Essentially, once the seventh seal of like the seventh scroll gets broken, that indicates the end of the world. It's like the coming of the rapture, divine judgment, all of that. So obviously he's saying the reason he exists is because you open the seventh seal. So this is a version of him who is going to bring down divine judgment upon you, who opened the seventh seal, the enemy here. I think one thing that's worth noting is he uses that word chiseled. And I think that's a super fucking cool word to use here. It's almost like saying that they slowly chipped away at him and now they've unleashed something that they didn't know, that they didn't expect this to get unleashed. They're going to face consequences that maybe they weren't aware of as a result of their like kind of slow chipping away at him. It's a really good way to portray this. It portrays a more complicated conflict in a way that's both artful and economic, right? Like you can use a few words to describe something serious and complicated. So it's really cool. I think so far these lyrics are really awesome. This idea that like, you chipped away at me, you took pot shots at me. All right, quit doing that. Put your weapons down. Show me your fist. Let's fight. Like you want to fight? Let's actually fight now. So then he says, I'm not just a cell, which I think is a very strange line on its own. And then he says, looking for another prisoner. So I wasn't sure what this meant. And I'm still not totally sold. My best interpretation that I have is him basically saying that he isn't empty. Like he's not some like empty person, vacuous person looking, trying to exist for someone else. Like he doesn't exist, or his purpose isn't to exist for somebody else. Because the reason I have that is because the next line he says, I got my story to tell. So I think that's how I interpret it. It's like he is his own person. He's not just some empty thing. He exists, or he is his own self, and he has his own story to tell. That's my best interpretation of this. Because if you think about that as a metaphor, it's like, I'm not just a cell looking for another prisoner. It's like you could say he's not looking for someone else to be inside him, but I mean, I don't know, maybe he is. He is Maryland, but I think that's not the interpretation. I think there's something else going on there. And that's my best interpretation, is that he's his own self. He's not living for somebody else. So if you think differently, let me know. But he says, I got my story to tell. Laws are for cowards, but rules are for men. This is another cool line. So, on the surface, you could say like, okay, rules and laws, they're the same. I mean, technically laws are rules, right? But the idea here is he's saying that, cowards follow the law because they're just afraid of punishment. They're afraid of the consequences, whereas men create rules that they live by, right? And so they don't just follow the laws that are given to them just because they're afraid of what might happen to them if they don't. Men come up with a code of ethics for themselves, and live for themselves, which follows from him saying, I got a story to tell, and then I'm not just a cell looking for another prisoner, right? So the idea here, overall, when we look at these verse lyrics, I think that these are great. I think that the idea is like, he has these opponents. He thinks that they're cowards who don't, he thinks that they are cowards who don't live for themselves. They're shallow and vacuous and empty. And maybe that's what it is. Maybe when he says, I'm not just a cell, he's accusing them of being cells looking for prisoners. So not only are they empty, but they are looking for people to enslave or capture with their cowardly ideology. That could be it. That's pretty cool. But yeah, no, I mean, the obvious implication here is that he's angry and he's ready to fight. And these people don't know what they've unleashed by chipping away at him and taking the pot shots at him. So yeah, I think that this is pretty cool. So far, it feels very gritty, very gnarly, very visceral at this stage, with words like chiseled and fist and the cell. And so yeah, this feels personal to me. This feels, he's got some beef. So with that said, let's go into the pre-chorus.